Now I am going to explain the inheritance concept in Python. Inheritance. So it's a process which a class, so namely called as child class or derived class, that will inherit the properties and attributes and methods defined in another class. So that is called as the base class. So here you may have a base class, and that will be inherited by one or more child class. So that is the concept. So in this way the child class can use the variables methods defined inside the base class. So why we need that inheritance? The main reason is the reusability. So for example, some common attributes or common methods you can define inside the child base class, that is parent class. So that can be used by different child class. So here I will show you one simple example. Assume vehicle is the base class, so there are some subclasses like car, plane, boat, bike, like that. You can define any number of subclass. Assume this car, plane, boat, all these can have some common properties, for example color, fuel type, so like that. So those common properties can be defined inside this vehicle, and some uh, specific properties to the respective uh, thing, like for example car may have some different additional properties, plane will have some different additional properties, both, so that can be defined inside the respective classes. But common properties we can define inside the base class, that then we can inherit and we can use it commonly. We no need to define the same. For example, fuel type. So fuel type you can define inside the vehicle class. The same at variable, that means attribute, can be used inside the car, plane and boat. So this is how it can be reduce the code, and it you can easily match with the real world models. Okay. Then another thing is similar to as I told before in the example. For example, race car is another subclass of car. So you no need to define fuel type again for race car, because already car inherits the fuel type attribute from its base class vehicle. So automatically if suppose we are going to define one more subclass, that is race car is the subclass of car. So here race car's parent is car, car's parent is vehicle, so automatically race car also gets the access to the attributes of vehicle. So that is the transitive nature, so that is also possible. So also method overriding is also possible here. So it can be scalable when it can be used for real world applications. So here we just see the syntax of base class and derived class. So already I have mentioned the base class is the root. So any number of child class or subclass can, or also called as derived class, can be can inherit the properties of base class. Okay. So here the definition to create the base class. So class, your parent class name. So you can define class vehicle, class person, class animal, like that. You can define anything. So based on your need. So next one is the child class. So class, your child class name. Within the bracket you have to mention the base class name. So after that you can have your code. For example, in our example we can define like this: class vehicle, then here class car, within the bracket we have to mention as vehicle. So here class plane, within the bracket you have to mention as vehicle. For boat, class boat, within the bracket we have to mention it as vehicle. So let us see a keyword called super will be used in this programming, so which is to represent the objects that return, that mean when you this used to inherit the methods and properties of its parent class. There are, I mean, if you are calling from a child class, that automatically inherit the properties and methods of the parent class. So we will see with an example. Assume here I am creating a base class called person, that is the parent class. So this parent class can be termed as base class, parent class, alternatively class person. So inside that I am defining a constructor. So here the first name and last name are initialized. So next I am creating a child class called student. So here I have mentioned the base class name as person. So whatever the properties defined in the person can be used in student. In the student I am printing the value. So here the super. So when I create an object to this child class, automatically it pass this parameters to its base class, since the value assignment is done inside the base class. So that is the use of this super. And as well as here I have created the object, namely x equal to student of, I am passing the name, and that is the first name and as well as last name. So whenever I invoke this, whenever I create an object, it is automatically invoke the constructor defined inside the student class. So inside the student class constructor, I have initiated the parent class constructor. Automatically the values are passed to the parent class. So now I am printing the, I am called the print function defined inside the student class. So this is how the super keyword also used. So another example, so person with name and ID number, it's a constructor which initiates the value of name and ID number as per the value received during the object creation. So here the child class name is employee, it inherits the person class. So here the constructor is defined. So name, ID number, salary and post are the attributes. Here two attributes are initialized in the parent class and remaining attributes are initialized here. So super dot init, that parent class constructor name, comma, the whatever the attributes you want to initiate in the parent class is passed, and remaining attributes are directly assigned here. Then there is a display function. The display function prints the value. So now I am going to create the object for the employee class, emp equal to employee of Raja, and whatever the ID number, salary and the designation. So here the Raja and 1 2 3 4 is assigned to name and ID number in the parent class. The salary and its designation, that is post, is assigned in the employee class. So when I call the display function, I will get the result put together in the child class. So from this, so the employee can have access to the attributes defined in the person class. So with this simple example, I am closing this topic. So we will discuss rest of the things later. Thank you.